Hello there.
Long live the fighters!
I guess it's not a good day to be a bad guy.
Unfortunately, no one can be told. You have to see it for yourself.
The second ever episode, issue 2. I don't know if you ever had the magazine Wizard back in the day. Wizard is a comic book, or was a comic book magazine. I don't know if it's still out there now, but it treated itself almost like a comic book. And so you would get like variant covers and things like that. And there were issues, issue 1 of Wizard, issue 2 of Wizard. So this is issue 2 of the Tesseract Files. Kevin Joseph, possibly the biggest Doc Brown impersonator, maybe on the planet, but definitely in the United States. He is, without question, the go-to when it comes to dressing up as Doc Brown from Back to the Future. The phenomena that has become cosplay. It used to be just, a certain amount of people, if you went to a convention or if there was any particular kind of comic event, there would be people who dress up. And then with the advent of Comic-Con and other conventions, yearly at about the end of spring, going through summer, heading into fall, is typically convention season. And so you would get these, people who are making convention runs. They're going to hit all the East Coast ones, or they'll hit all the ones in the West Coast, whichever. And they literally plan out their quarter year of, I got to hit this one, the next one, the next one, and the next one.
Right.
So it used to be just like a smattering, but now it's become everybody.
Believe it or not, this started back in 1939 is the earliest I could find a record of it. And it was only for people, maybe New York, maybe LA, who liked horror movies. So they would come dressed as Frankenstein. And then it grew to science fiction, so they would come dressed as Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon. Then, with the advent of comic books, Marvel, DC, the Phantom, all kinds of superheroes, people started dressing as that. And then convention organizers, whether it be for medical professionals or industry, or they said, well, there's a whole bunch of people like dressing up. Let's have conventions for them. And then they bring in the movie stars, the TV stars, the comic book artists, and it just ballooned.
Yeah.
Now, the granddaddy of all was San Diego Comic-Con,
right,
because that's right down the street from LA where all the big stars are, so it's not hard to get them to come down. And that's where movies are unveiled and panels are, talking about behind the scenes and stuff.
Right.
So that is that. And then I just found a pin that I got from 1979 New York City Comic Art Con.
Wow.
A friend of mine was a comic artist, and he wanted to go meet his hero, Jim Buscema, who wrote for Marvel, did all the big characters. And he was there, and we had Marvel artists. I got a $5 picture, 11 by 18, drawn and inked by, I can't even remember the artist's name, but it was a Marvel comic artist, famous guy. I don't know what that would be worth today. I've since lost it. But 1979 was the first comic art convention I went to. There was no cosplay. But then about 10, 12 years ago, my daughter and I went to MegaCon in Orlando.
Ooh.
And we went in T-shirts and jeans and looked at everybody in costume, and we were the nerds.
Right.
We were the outsiders looking at this and going, you felt self-conscious. Why everyone's in costume when we're wearing jeans, So, and we met Stan Lee there, Marvel comic icon. And he was there. So, and we got to see all these people, and I was taking pictures, of course. So we said, okay, we got to dress up as something next time. And then it just ballooned beyond my comprehension when I dressed up as Doc Brown. My daughter, who makes, I should tell you, my daughter makes costumes of the characters that the voice actors play. So if you know Avatar, the waterbender.
Airbender.
Airbender, waterbender, firebender, earthbender, all those benders. Fender bender, bad drivers. She met some of the her favorite voice actors, and she was dressed as one of the characters. And they said, where'd you buy that? She said, I made it. Could you make me one? So she made one for one, and then, of course, a fellow voice actor, where'd you get that? And it just snowballed. So my daughter was making costumes for the voice actors of their characters, and she made about 4 or 5 of them. And then, of course, she was making all kinds of costumes for herself.
Yeah.
She's got an Instagram page with all her costumes and videos, and she's getting thousands of hits and views and stuff.
Well, that's the thing. That's the interesting thing about it. Like in the beginning, back in the day, there would be people who would either have costumes, like from a costume place.
Right.
They would go and get like a high end one,
Right.
or get really creative, sit down and try and replicate the thing that they've put on. Now you've got, because it's such a big industry. There are straight up costume designers.
Oh, yeah.
And people will just go on their website and like, oh, look, Princess Leia. And because I remember there was a Halloween that I went on a date with a girl that I worked with. And she didn't have a costume.
Right.
And so it's like, can I get you a costume? It's like, sure, you can make me whatever. It's like, hey, hang on. I can make you whatever I want for Halloween. You said that. Those were the words that came out of your mouth. And she's like, yeah, sure. Princess Leia immediately went for the Return of the Jedi Princess Leia slave girl outfit, of course, and then went out and bought it, put it on her, but found out when I bought it, that was the last year you could buy it from costume places that sell them, because apparently there was like a copyright thing that was happening and you couldn't do it any longer. Right. And so nowadays, if you want to get certain costumes that are now
authentic,
and you can't get it from X store or whatever, you can go find a designer out there that'll either customize it for you, or they've got not a catalog. Yeah, they got a catalog. They got a catalog of all these costumes that you could choose from, and then you can go and cosplay, because they know, like, I got to start making January, so that I have enough inventory for May and July and June.
Very labor intensive. I mean, my daughter had to say no to quite a few people, not voice actors, because those are the big draws, and she's a fan, so she was happy to do it for them. But then she's at a convention and people coming up to her and, are you the one who? And she has cards and everything she hands out. But awesome. And she's a LLC, so she's official. She's got all the sewing equipment that you've never seen before, that can do things you've never, the embroidery.
I would assume she would have to have a way of doing it almost in a mass production type of way.
Well, she can't. I said, you're going to have to hire people, because, you can't make 500 costumes.
By yourself.
No.
Or you charge higher. So that
but even so, I mean, she charges like 1,000. She starts at 1,000, depending on how complicated it is.
There you go.
And, she has to turn down the money because she doesn't have, or the
manpower,
the commissions, because she doesn't have the time
and
the energy, and she can do it. And she's, again, a perfectionist, so she's not just going to slap something together and have it fall apart when you wear it. So she's very, and I tell her, there's some costume designer in Hollywood who's gotten like 5 or 7 Oscars for costume design for movies and stuff. And I said, hey, that could be you,
Yeah, like
she's like, oh no, I don't have the time or the energy.
You're already halfway there.
Yeah, I know you're doing it. You've got the skills. And she, a friend of hers, mother, is a seamstress, which is a very low rent description of what they do.
Right.
They're costume designers, not seamstresses. And she's got relatives, cousins saying, can you take in my pants and can you take the hem on this? No, I'm not your tailor, seamstress. So there is a demand, and she has profited from it. But again, it's one of those things that are so popular that it overwhelms you, and you have to put on the brakes at some point, especially if you're artistically inclined. You want it to be perfect, so you'll spend a month on it. You can't spend a month on 500 costumes.
No.
So
luckily for her, like, that's a skill in Hollywood that still can't be taken by AI. So like,
no, exactly.
If there was ever a moment for her to kind of cross over into that path.
Well, she's in Toronto right now, and they do a lot of shooting in Toronto.
Yeah, man.
Star Trek. As a matter of fact, she went to a I want to say workshop where the leader of the workshop, a woman who was a costume designer, worked with Star Trek Brand New World.
Oh, okay.
The latest one, Brave New World. Brand New World. And so she worked, and so my daughter was working with her, and I said, well, you're learning new techniques, but you're also networking. Maybe this woman needs some extra hands someday. So you wouldn't think that in Toronto you'd be making costumes for the Starship Enterprise, but you never know.
Well, Toronto, aside of, say, Hollywood, is a massive sci-fi shooting. Like more than half of the shows that you can think of were all shot in Toronto.
Yeah, and Vancouver.
And Vancouver, yeah.
Because the Canadian dollars, it costs them less.
Yeah,
and there's all kinds of tax break incentives to shoot up there.
Like more than half of the character actors that you've ever seen in any kind of sci-fi TV show, they're Canadian.
Oh yeah,
all those guys are.
Ryan Reynolds and the list
they all
is long.
came from up there. Yeah,
and there's some actors I find out after the fact. I'm Canadian by birth, American citizen, but when I find out that certain actors are in Canada, from Canada, like Keanu Reeves, he's I'm like, whoa, yeah, okay. Well, him and Ryan Reynolds, they're Canadian because they're very big. But then you find a bunch of character actors, and they'll make they're background people, but they have lines and they do the acting, but they're real characters. And then you find out, born in Montreal, born in Winnipeg, born in Vancouver, and you're, oh, hey, how about that? Michael J. Fox, come on, he was born in Vancouver.
Michael J. Fox was one of the rare ones that I actually knew because of Thick of the Night.
Right.
So like he came from that show and all the guys that kind of like came out of there. So that was like one of the few ones. And plus he was in that movie. Was it The Great All Nighter? Where he's a kid brother to this guy who's playing in a kind of like a fraternity scavenger hunt type of game. Okay. And so, like, he gets sucked into this whole competition where they have to, like, find these, clues to the big prize at the end.
Right.
So, yeah, it was, like, one of the very first things I ever saw Michael J. Fox in.
Yeah, no, I have not seen that. But you do see, it's funny, Martin Short, John Candy.
That whole clique of guys that came out from SCTV and
all Canadian. They all made big in the States. Rick Moranis, he's just doing Spaceballs 2 again, and this is a guy who retired from acting to raise. I think his wife died and he raised his kids
for over a decade. He was out.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. And then they said, "Hey, would you come back for this?" He goes, "Yeah, okay." And I've seen him in a couple of other things. He did a commercial with Ryan Reynolds, I think, for a cell phone company or something.
Yeah,
real. He says he didn't do anything. He just stood there.
Yeah, and every now and again he'll do like a cameo or something like that, but nothing serious. No.
He doesn't need anything. I mean, he was such a star. But again, waving that Canadian flag these days, all the people who you don't know they're Canadian, but their roots are there. Yeah. And and Michael J. Fox. Of course, I got to meet him. I got to meet Christopher Lloyd. I got to meet Tom Wilson, Leah Thompson.
So you pretty much got almost all the cast. Like all you need is Eric Stoltz to like throw in there.
Yeah, he wasn't there. No, I worked the Comic-Con 2019 MegaCon Orlando for 4 days. I know a fabulous guy amazing guy, Bruce Coulomb of Bruce Coulomb Enterprises, who transforms, converts regular DeLoreans into time machines.
Oh, okay.
And he's in Oviedo and just outside of Orlando. And
full spread, I'm assuming, like the whole, like the dashboard and everything.
Inside, outside.
Flux capacitors over here in the backside. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, the thing, if you can get it up to 88 miles an hour, which you can't with a DeLorean, it only goes to 85 on the odometer, speedometer. But no, he's done 60 of these. They've been shipped to France, Tokyo, Japan, England, everywhere around the world, as well as across the country.
Right.
And just amazing. He's got last I heard, he had 5 or 6 DeLoreans in his shop that he's converting right now. He's got one in, I think it's Louisiana, outside a mechanic's shop that's a hover DeLorean. It's hover. The wheels are and it's on a big pole, like a big billboard pole.
Right.
But it's flying
like at the end of the movie. Yeah.
And you go by there and it's all lit up underneath and lit up on top. And I mean, it's detail. The guy, every nut, every screw. And if he finds one, I did a video one time with another DeLorean that someone had tried to convert themselves, and it was full of tubes and wires and crap. And and I showed him the video, and he's like, "Who built that piece of crap?" He was like, he was like Leonardo da Vinci looking at finger painting, and he's like, come on. So he's hardcore. He's an artist, never mind a mechanic.
Right.
And just like my daughter with her, perfection you don't want any part to fall off as it drives down the road. So you don't want any sleeve to fall off a costume as you're
especially out of that back end with all the other stuff that he's got back there.
Yeah, there's a lot. He's got all 4 versions. No, 3 versions he's done from the first movie, third movie, the Hover. He's doing now the one that goes to the Old West with the white walls and the red wheels, and that's elevated. It's jacked up. He's doing that one now. Among the others, that he's just a straight conversion, like from the first movie.
That's hilarious.
So it really is. I mean, I'm going to go up. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to drop in on his shop in June because I have another doc gig up in Orlando.
Well, that's the interesting thing about you. You kind of like fell into this thing, right? Like you said, like you went to your first. I'm assuming the first convention that you did it at, right? You went as Doc Brown.
No, not the first convention. We were in jeans and t-shirts.
No, I'm saying the first time that you dressed
first
up.
Time. It was in Tampa Bay. It was Tampa Bay Con. My daughter and I had always gone to MegaCon. We said, let's check out Tampa Bay Con. What's that like? And a hurricane hit. And so the streets were flooded around the convention center. We were inside. We heard thunder. It was like, what the hell's going on? But thank God I didn't park the DeLorean outside because if lightning had hit it, it'd be 1885. And then what would I do?
You'd be stuck.
But no, we were in there, and I just put on a $9 white painter's overall.
Okay.
And a $10 tool belt.
Right.
Leather tool belt.
Right.
And that was it. I got 250 people stop me to take a picture.
Wow.
And it was like a $19 costume. And I didn't even and of course, I've got the long white hair.
Right.
And I couldn't talk like him at the time.
All right.
But I just stood there, and people were coming up to me like crazy. I said, what the hell's going on? And some of these pictures ended up online. So I was like, wow, that's pretty funny. And my daughter says, well, okay, we got to get rid of this painter's overalls thing and get serious.
Legit thing.
So I did another one and with the painter overalls. I usually use the painter overalls if I'm doing an outdoor gig,
right?
Because I sweat like crazy if it's outdoors. And indoors, I'll wear the tuxedo version, the high quality overalls. But long story short, we went to Miami Magic City Con. It no longer exists. They've changed names over the years. But I went to Magic City Con, and that's when I started doing the voice, and I had the nice costume that my daughter put together, and from the first movie, the white overalls.
Right.
And we went there, and kids were taking pictures of me, and adults too, and with me. And so I started talking like Doc Brown because, it's part of the act.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, my God, he talks like that too.
Yeah.
So one of the people I talked to said, hey, you got to enter the contest. So what contest? And for the Magic Con, by the way, my daughter ended up making a costume. Well, she had a costume, but they gave her a costume to wear. She was one of the models on the program for the Magic City Con. They made a program. So they had all these cosplayers on the program, but she was on there too. So she got a free VIP pass for 3 days. So we kept going back for free, which was nice. Anyway, joined the contest. Okay, so I went in the contest. And before the contest started in that big hall they had downtown in the Doubletree Hotel.
Was it? Oh, no. Wasn't it the Airport Hilton?
It was the Airport Hilton. But it's a Doubletree Hotel, but it's the Airport Hilton.
Yeah.
On 72nd.
Right.
So I went in there and I sat down and I was in costume, but I was in the back of the room watching these 4 women on high director's chairs with microphones talking to the crowd, taking questions.
Right.
And they said, oh, yes, we do paid appearances. And I thought, how do you make a living off of dressing up? Yeah, that would be so cool. And anyway, so that happened. And the next thing was the contest. So we had 30 people backstage to go up on the stage where these women had just been sitting.
Right.
And I was trying to think, what am I going to do? So I had my guitar with me, and it looks like the guitar Marty plays.
Yeah.
And I was dressed as Doc, and I said, I got to come up with a bit, So I thought of something. It was my turn. I was number 12 out of 30. Came up on stage, and I said, can't remember. This is back in 2016, 2017. Okay, I'm here from the future, and I need to get back, and I can't find Marty and his parents, and the only way we can get back is if Lorraine and George kiss. Now, I know that's in the past, but any one of you could be part of his bloodline, so any one of you could be related to them, so I need everybody in the room to kiss.
My God.
Boyfriends, girlfriends, mothers, fathers, kids, parents, everybody kiss. So they started roaring with laughter. They kissed. And then, of course, I played the guitar Earth Angel before, and of course
Oh, okay.
I was, because that's from the movie.
Yeah.
And I was screwing it up because I couldn't play it because just like Marty, you know.
Yeah, he
something's
started.
going
Yeah,
wrong.
he's losing his hand.
So I said, I need people to kiss so I can play properly. And of course they kissed, and then I played it properly. And I said, you did it, you saved it. I got to go outside.
Oh, you didn't rip into Johnny Be Good after that?
I could have, but I was
Right.
wearing my yellow rubber gloves.
Oh, God.
So I could still play.
Right,
but not Johnny Be Good. That would shred my gloves. Never mind shredding the guitar. But I can play it. Yes. But I went outside. I went off the stage and waited to see who won, and I won the contest. Got a trophy and a check for $500.
Right.
So I was like, "Wow, this is the start of something big," you know. And then before the next thing you know, I went to MegaCon the following year, or the same year. I wanted to meet Christopher Lloyd. He was taking pictures with people. Oh. So I went and met Christopher Lloyd, got a picture with him and my daughter.
That is awesome.
And then that was at one end of the MegaCon Orlando Convention Center, Orange County Convention Center. And as I walked diagonally across this big square hall, people were taking pictures with me. I was used to that by now. Pictures. But as I got closer to the other end of the hall, I couldn't take 2 steps without someone taking a picture. And I was like, why so many so quick so often?
Because you got that look?
No, well, that too, but it was intense. It was like paparazzi, you know, you can't walk and everyone wants a picture. Look this way, look this way. So I was like, all of this is a new experience for me. So I'm just happy I got a picture with Christopher Lloyd. And as I get closer, that's where Bruce Coulombe had a DeLorean time machine set up. And Rob Sims was Marty McFly, actor at Universal Studios.
Right.
So Marty was there. Bruce was there. The car was there. People were taking pictures with Marty in the car. And then I showed up, and people were taking pictures with me. And Rob comes over and goes, "Hey, are you busy?" I said, "Well, I'm just here."
Now.
He says, "Our doc didn't show up. Would you like to, stand in?"
Sub in, yeah.
5 hours later. So he told me, he says, "We do these gigs, and, can we call you?" I said, "Sure." And after the whole thing was over, and I walked off with my daughter, and my cousin was in town.
Right.
And I said, they said that they pay me to do this. They have gigs. I said, I don't believe them. No one's going to pay me to dress up and talk funny. Well, let me see. Atlanta, Asheville, Tokyo. Years later, I've been flown around the world to be Doc Brown with these cars and people. And again, I did a video with Leah Thompson. I met Michael J. Fox, and they were all there in 2019 at MegaCon. They came back in 2024, but I wasn't there. But it was just, and I have all the costumes, so I rotate.
Right.
And I know the lines from the movie, so people will say, 1.21 gigawatts. And I would say, 1.21 gigawatts, nothing has that kind of power except a bolt of lightning. And unfortunately, we never know where it's going to hit, and you just go through the whole.
That's hilarious.
And then they throw a line at you and you throw a line back and you're repeating the script. It really is amazing. And I understand why people want to be actors and actresses in Hollywood, because the attention, the kick I get out of it is, especially little kids dressed as Marty.
Right.
They're afraid to approach, and I'll just, "Marty, where have you been? I've been looking all over for you." And then I'll go and take a picture with him, and Dad's happy, and the kid's happy, and everyone's.
For 5 minutes of their lives, it's like, hey, he's there.
If I can put a smile on your face by acting like a fool, hey, I'll do it all day, all night. I got such a kick out of it. And, it's nice to get a few bucks too. But and I keep getting called back. I keep thinking, this will be the last one. Oh, this will be the last one. And I'm getting calls I got 3 different people calling me now. So,
well, luckily enough, that movie is a big enough movie that there's always going to be, a calling for that. Yeah.
Well, the 40th anniversary really resurrected the memory, and everyone who never saw it before is seeing it again, or the kids especially.
Plus, you got the rides at the theme parks, and
everything. There was so many souvenirs, so much. The first movie was shown in AMC theaters again.
Right.
They were giving away popcorn DeLoreans. And so I got a couple of those. I have a big Back to the Future swag.
I would
collection.
Assume so by now.
I mean, you see how I'm dressed.
There you go.
But it's been very, very good to me.
It's funny that you say the the following that you get, because there are literal cosplayers now that are no longer just like cosplayers. They are now known as this particular cosplayer that wears these outfits, and then they get called to different conventions to show up. And so sometimes when you see the guest list of who's going to be there. People from TV shows, people from movies, and then there's a whole cosplayer section.
Well, you've heard of Yaya? Have you heard of Yaya?
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
She's a woman who's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Elaborate costumes. Some of characters that exist, some of characters she's created.
Right.
But again, she's like my daughter in the detail that goes into this stuff. I mean,
if you're dead on enough, there was a girl that I saw the first year that SuperCon moved from the airport Hilton.
Right.
And went to the convention center.
Miami Beach.
Right. And so now it's at the Miami Beach Convention Center. And she came with a redhead who was dressed as, who's the...
like an X-Men?
No. It is a comic book character it's a video game character.
Oh.
Excuse me. That's a redhead. That's also a vampire, and her name it's not Vampirella, and her name just got sucked out of my brain. Amy Lokinen played the character in the movies, which was a terrible movie, by the way.
No.
But
It's a paycheck.
But she came dressed, and she herself is insanely gorgeous, like goddess level gorgeous.
Right.
Now you throw that costume on her, which was dead accurate to the actual game, and it was like...
You're transformed. You're transported.
It was like as if Michael Jackson walked in. There was just a constant crowd moving through a giant crowd because they were all surrounding her. And like you said, like paparazzi. Click, 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 click. Can I get a photo? Can I get a this? Can I get a that? Like, I can only imagine that was her then. By now, what must she be by now?
Yeah.
Because as it goes on, you not only do you have cosplay conventions, there are cosplay competitions, there are cosplay shows.
There are competitions. I mean, I did that first costume contest and won it.
Right.
Someone parked a regular DeLorean outside. Do you think I could walk past that?
No,
it was like a magnet. People said, "No, stand there." I was there for like another hour taking pictures with people coming in and out of the convention center at the DoubleTree there at the airport Hilton.
It'd be so funny if the guy who had that DeLorean was just like going in for like a second and he came back and was like, "Whoa, what the hell's going on?"
What happened to my car? What are you doing? And Doc's standing beside it. No, it's crazy. But I got to tell you, I mean, what you're just talking about in Tokyo. First of all, I got the call. I had a week to go. In a week you're going to be there. It's for a TV show. It's like New Year's Rockin' Eve here on New Year's Eve, but they shoot it in November so they can put it together. It's a mix of Squid Games, New Year's Rockin' Eve, and some other shows. But it's basically a chase, a contest. You've got guys that look like Men in Black, with the suits and all that, and then you've got these contestants who are running around trying not to get caught.
Right.
And they had me in there because apparently Doc unknowingly opened a portal from the past, and all these people walk through it, and these are the people who are trying to escape and run away from these Men in Black. So I'm there, but when I showed up, picked me up at the airport, took me to the hotel, picked me up at the hotel, took me to the set, dressing room with my name on the door. I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
And people, what can I get you? What can I get you? And then I sat in a makeup chair for about an hour because the guy was making me look exactly like Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
And then the hair, he made the hair wilder than it already is. Huh. And then I went outside.
I'm assuming he's doing the headband with the hair going on the back end like that, like he's got it in the first film.
Or is headband?
Didn't he have like a headband?
He had goggles on.
Yeah. And his hair.
No, I didn't have anything on my head. He was doing the hair. He was making it. I had tons of hairspray. I mean, it was concrete. You could knock on it and hear. It was so. And when I got back to the hotel, I had to wash my hair 5 times to get all that gunk out of it. But I mean, I looked the part, and I was in the white outfit.
That's awesome.
Drove the car up, and they did special effects. They said, "There's going to be a portal here. Just point at it and react," and I did. And then later I saw the finished product, post-production, and it was really cool.
Right.
And of course I had someone dub Japanese over my voice, so there was no, I don't know what Doc sounds like in Japan. But
right.
He doesn't sound like this.
Well, it's probably like a voice actor who always voices it over for him. Yeah,
it's the same guy, but I never met him. I didn't talk to him, but I met the whole cast. There were 5 directors. Everyone had his own segment to direct, so there was always someone telling me what to do. And I had a translator, thank God, and she was telling me, he said this, do that. It was great. But getting in and out of the car, which is hard for a 6'4" person. So I was trying to make it look smooth, like I knew what I was doing, but I fell out a couple of times, and so I, ruined
Doc never really drives the car.
Yeah. No, you never see him. He's just sitting in it. Yeah.
He's always around it, but he never actually gets in the car and drives it.
I saw him come into the driveway and knock over some garbage cans at the end of the first movie.
Is that what he does?
Yeah, that's all. At the end of the first movie, we got to go back to the future. Your kids are the problem.
Oh, he's driving. Yes, that's right. He's driving the DeLorean. He drives it to go away.
Yeah.
And then he drives it coming back, and then they fly off.
Jumps out of the car.
Yeah, that's really the only times he's actually ever driving the car.
But they do a cutaway to Michael J. Fox's reaction, so he could just get out of the car. It could be someone else driving. It's so hard to get in and out of, really. Not so much for him.
How tall is Lloyd?
He's probably about 6 feet. He was sitting.
J. Fox is only about like 5'7", 5. Yeah,
5'7", 5'8",
if that.
Yeah. So when I stand next to him, we have the right proportions, kind of thing. But Christopher Lloyd in the car, he looked a little more comfortable than I did. I have to sort of scrunch down.
Well, it's a DeLorean. It is a sports car. Like it's not really made for big people.
And no. And we have people when I do other gigs as Doc. The car's just parked there, and people want to take pictures of me, the car, Rob, Marty, and then they want to get in the car. So I say, okay, but watch your head on the gull wing door, and watch your, you're not. And then they'll squeeze in, and then give me a hand to get out. And they said, "Gee, it didn't look this tough in the movie." In the movie, it's a whole different person driving the car, probably 6 foot, not 6 foot tall.
It's funny you should say this because you're talking about the costume, right? And at the very least, you're usually wearing a jumper, right? Like the overalls. Yeah, you're usually wearing the overalls. It's the simplicity of it. You can do almost anything you want at a convention. You're not going to get too hot in it. You can go to the bathroom. It's simple.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, I said this to Chamberlain in the last issue, where my nephew and I, when we went to the first SuperCon, which was at the Airport Hilton. And if you remember where the Airport Hilton is, it's like a big hill, like a bridge that goes, and you park down at the bottom there, and then you got to walk over that bridge to go up and get into the hotel. In front of us, as we parked the car and just walking up the hill, is a guy completely dressed in a full Gundam outfit. Yeah. So for people who don't know what a Gundam is, a Mobile Suit Gundam, it's basically like he's a transformer. Yeah. Like he looks like a robot and that transforms into a jet, but he's in that walk around mode. Yeah. And so he's got this giant suit that he's in, and he's just like step, all the way up the bridge, over, walking into the hotel, through the hallway, through all the area you had to go to get to the back to the convention area, and then he's back there. And the entire time we just felt so bad because it's South Florida, it's June, it's hot as balls. Yeah. This guy is cooking in this thing. There's no way that he's not, utterly dying. And this, the very, very first thing I thought of, because after walking up and walking through the thing and getting into I was sweating, and two, I had to go to the bathroom. Yeah. Like, I had to go to the bathroom. What's this guy got to do to get in and out of that particular thing?
Can you imagine him walking into a bathroom in that costume?
Oh, my Lord. How does he get in and out of it? Like, there would be no way for him to even remotely possibly to do it. There was a year where my nephew and I wanted to try to do something kind of like that, but not get stuck. And so he who had the bright idea is like, what if we were Daleks? And then we could just make little vehicles, and we can get in and out of the vehicle. Sure. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's actually genius. Yeah. Because we could drive around all over the place, and we won't get stuck in the thing. Right. We can get out and go to the bathroom or whatever. We can park and just like jump in, jump out. We don't even have to get specially dressed. No. We could be dressed however we want inside the thing. Yeah. The complexity of trying to get that costume made was just a little bit too much. The engineering that would have taken to do it wasn't going to work. My cousin cosplays as Spider-Man. He's got a straight up Spider-Man outfit. Yeah. And it's like the materials used for it is exceptional. Quality. He would literally go to shows, and just like you, he couldn't walk, he couldn't go anywhere. No. He knew he was going to have to stop for at least 1,000 photos. Yeah. There was no way that he was going to be able to go in and go out. So then I asked the question. I was like, well, how do you get in and out of that thing? Yeah. Like,
You
if you
don't.
got to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
like, what do you do? Luckily enough, he's got an easy way to kind of get in and out. So, begs the question, of all the conventions that you've gone to,
Yeah.
what is the most technical costume that you've seen where you know for a fact
There's a
that
couple.
person is stuck in there for the day?
Thor movies.
Okay.
His best buddy,
Ooh.
Korg.
Oh, okay.
A big, rocky guy.
Yeah.
Standing 8 feet tall.
Holy
Obviously on
crap.
stilts.
Yes.
But, I mean, there was no opening on. He was a walking mountain. And I thought to myself, that poor guy. And I wasn't even thinking about bathroom breaks. I was thinking about walking, thinking about the heat, thinking about, do they have fans inside that costume? They didn't, and it was just, I was so impressed. And that's the other reason I go to cons, is to see the creativity and the imagination and what everybody, I mean, I've seen a million Spider-Men at cons, but then when a Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse cartoon came out, I saw a Spider Noir guy.
Yeah.
I saw Spider Pig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 foot tall Spider Pig, not a 3 foot
Peter
tall
Porker.
Peter Porker.
Right.
And I'm thinking, A, the imagination, B, the skill and artistry that goes into a costume. And then there are people who blend costumes, like you'll have Deadpool and Spider-Man, and it'll be like Spider-Man's mask or Deadpool's mask and Spider-Man's shirt and blah, blah, blah. They make combo costumes, for characters.
Yeah.
And then if you're straight up a character, if anyone else is dressed as a character from that same movie, show, TV, comic, whatever, and you pass each other in the conference hall, convention center, you can't go. People put you together.
Yeah.
Like if there's a Marty, there's a picture of me and 12 Martys. You can't get away.
Oh, if you're at all just like a well-known Jedi, and there's another person that's dressed up as Darth Vader, you're not going anywhere without a battle.
You're
Like
stuck.
you're gonna have to fight.
You're stuck. Oh,
Right.
yeah, you'll have to fight too.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Like you're not going anywhere. They're gonna make you go.
You can go online and you'll see all kinds of group shots of characters from the same, like X-Men. If there's a bunch of X-Men in there, and I saw really creative. I was Doc 2019 MegaCon, and a woman drives up in a DeLorean that was built around her wheelchair. Oh. And Doc was with her, but he wasn't pushing her. He was.
Yeah.
She was motorized. But I had to take a picture with him.
That is cool.
Said, this is, how do you do that? And there was another guy who was, oh my gosh, how can I forget this name?
Character in the movie.
The big baddie in Endgame.
Oh, Thanos.
Thanos, thank you.
Yeah.
I just went blank. Thanos, in his purpleness with his
Right.
gold armor, sitting in his throne, but it was a wheelchair. Okay?
That is crazy.
And this poor Thanos, he couldn't roll 5 feet without getting a picture. So this is what I mean. You've got people who are all ages, all races, all ethnic, but they're all creative.
Yeah.
Disability or not. I mean, I saw a woman. She had it was probably a video game character, because I'm not big on video game characters, but she had this big sword, but it was a crutch. That's what she walked.
I know
with.
exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
And she'd be walking, but then when she stood still, she could raise it up, and you'd never know she was disabled. And nobody's really disabled at one of these things.
No.
We're all this, characters. We're
It's
not
great.
even ourselves.
You
We're
get to
just,
be a rock star for a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Like I started to tell you in Tokyo, they treated me like I was a king.
Yeah.
For a week, I was spoiled, and then I got home back to the regular old, boring lifestyle. And I thought to myself, nah, that's why all these Hollywood actors want to be big time. They get spoiled like crazy. Pictures. I mean, I had all kinds of people taking. Some guys drove up. We had a time machine in Tokyo, but we also had 5 guys with 5 other straight DeLoreans.
Oh, okay.
There, so they wanted me to pose with their DeLorean, because that was part of the plot. Something was hidden in one of the DeLoreans that the characters had to find, and as like a scavenger hunt and whatever.
Oh, very cool.
But off camera, they just wanted a picture with me. So it was. Again, the pictures, it's flattering that somebody wants to take a picture with you, but they don't want to take a picture with you. They want to take a picture with Doc, or Thanos, But
Did you ever think of getting a DeLorean yourself?
I couldn't afford it. DeLoreans, I think, are going for like 100 G's.
Yeah.
Because they bought up all the supplies, and there's a Texas factory that puts them together.
Right.
But it's like 100 G's or in the high, 80s or whatever. And to convert it to a time machine is half of that. So it's another 50 thou.
Yeah.
So it's just out of my price range, but I can get. I priced them out, one for $6,000, a big gray box panel van. I can put Doc Brown Scientific Services on the side.
The white van that he had,
It's a dirty gray silver,
Yes.
So I could put my, Doc Brown on the side. I don't know where I'd park it.
Well, he had that. He also had the convertible. He had the convertible.
Well, that's a little
that's
pricey, too.
That's a pricier one too. Although you can
was
get
a Victoria.
Yeah.
And that was.
You can get a kit version of that though. That
you can?
There are kit versions of those that you can totally
The
get.
panel van's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Low maintenance, $6,000. You put your name on the side. Boom. You roll up to a party in that, and people say, and they look in the back. Where's a DeLorean? I'll have a small little toy car in the back. Oh, I can shrink it down. It's easier to park that way.
Because he towed it there, and then he took the part off.
Right. So, I think that's the vehicle I would get.
Well, you also have the guitar. You have Marty's guitar. Which guitar do you have? Did you have his? What he has?
He has three, but I have the red one. The
the Trini Lopez. Is it a Trini? Isn't it a Trini that he's playing?
Red one?
I thought he's playing a Trini at the end.
No, he's playing. That's a Gibson.
Okay.
And it doesn't have a Bigsby on it, so it's
he's playing. He's playing a Strat in the beginning.
He plays a PRS. He plays a Chiquita, they call it, that little yellow guitar.
Right.
He plays, I think he plays a black Strat when he's auditioning.
You're right, for Huey Lewis.
And I think the PRS is when he's in the second movie. He's an old man. He's sitting in the living room chair, and he's just plucking away.
Right.
So there's 4 guitars.
Yeah, that's right.
I've lent when I do gigs with Rob, who plays Marty, I give him my red guitar to hang on to as a prop. He says, "You got to teach me how to play Johnny Be Good." And I said, "Look, that's not the first song you learn. That's that's a little more complicated."
Technically,
for a beginner.
For a guitar, it is technically very, very hard.
Yeah.
For a drummer like me,
and me,
that was one of the first songs that I actually did learn how to play.
Of course.
And I learned how to play it on the drums. So it's
pretty
work
up to it.
So it's a little simpler if you're playing the drums. But it's much harder if you're playing. Well, it's harder if you're playing the guitar and you're playing it the way that he played it in the movie, because then he takes off on that solo.
Yeah. Oh, well,
and then forget it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was all. But he did say. Michael J. Fox did say, "Make sure you get a shot of my hand because I do know how to play this. I don't want to be just those vague chords."
Who was Ralph Garman? Ralph Garman, who does a show with Kevin Smith, and he brought up at one it was like maybe 10 years ago, Michael J. Fox was on stage for a charity for Parkinson's.
Was it Coldplay or Green Day he played with?
Somebody, and he played Johnny B. Good. It's like, isn't this so cool? He learned how to play the guitar for Johnny B. Good. It's like, dude, he always knew how to play a guitar. Yeah. He literally was in the movie Light of Day right after that, playing with Joan Jett. He's right. He's playing guitar when he's doing the audition. That's him playing. Yeah. And that's actually him He's not singing when he does Johnny B. Good, but that is him playing.
But even when the audition, when he was playing Too Loud and Huey Lewis making his cameo,
that's him playing.
There are scenes, behind the scenes where he's showing how he learned Power of Love.
Yeah,
and which I can also play, but you have to learn that if you're going to be doing a movie. But he's playing it, and he's soloing. He's playing. He's just not playing the song. He's going wild on it, and Huey Lewis is standing beside him, going, "That's great, Michael. That's good." Hey, what the hell? So
he's been playing since he was a kid, right? Like he
can play.
He's
guitar.
no different than anybody else who grew up playing the guitar and is like, he's playing the same song that your guy's playing, right?
But unless you're making a living at it, some people don't know you're
good at it.
Can do,
that you can actually play.
Guitar, you start playing, and hey,
it's been years. Decades since I've picked up a stick, but at one point I did get myself to the point where I can play all of 2112, the whole second side, and Master Plan by Dave Weckl. Like that was like my 2 achievements. Like if I could get here and I could play those things,
and then I can retire.
Right, I can just stop after that. But can I play La Via Stringata? Can I do that? If I could do that, then I've made it. Like I've achieved that thing. And so I practiced, and I was able to start it, play it, go the whole way through. My hands were on fire afterwards,
of course.
but I got there, and that was just that was the beauty of it. So yeah, like everybody can play. It's just you're not getting paid.
You gotta,
right.
I was in a band when I was like 19.
Yeah.
Or 20, 19, 20. And all these guys in Canada, Montreal.
Right.
And the guys are still there and whatnot. They've moved to Toronto. One's in Montreal, Toronto. Anyway, I went back. My mother lived in Ottawa, which is right pretty much geographically between Montreal and Toronto. Okay. So I said, hey, let's put the band back together. And this is 40 years later. Oof. So I said, let's put the band back together. And they all showed up. And I rented drums from the local music store, and we started playing some songs that we had played growing up, like rock and roll, Led Zeppelin and stuff. So before they showed up, I set up the drums, and I said, I haven't picked up sticks in like decades.
Yeah, man.
I better get my groove back, And so I listened to music.
Groove back. Get your hands back. The calluses alone will burn.
Oh well, I didn't play to the
like I don't have my calluses. My hands are clean now.
Yeah,
if I was to start to play again, I'd have to break in my hands.
Yeah, I didn't wear gloves or nothing. It was just, but I got my groove back, just enough to
pull it
fun,
off. Yeah.
Enough to have fun, and that was that. But I thought, after so many decades of never playing drums, simply because it's not something you can just take out and play like a guitar.
No,
and the neighbors complain.
You can have an electronic set, but even that makes noise.
Nah, it's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same. I like the acoustic.
I was a young man, a young lad. In Miramar, Florida, and it was a rainy day, and so I couldn't go out and play, and so I had to stay inside, and I was watching HBO, and HBO played The Song Remains the Same.
Oh, yeah.
And was immediately blown away by the entire thing, and so my dad used to give me $5, $5 a week as allowance.
Right.
And I went to the local video store that was right down the street from us, and they had a copy of The Song Remains the Same there. And so I put it on layaway. And so each week I just came in with my $5 and paid for it.
Was it VHS tape?
VHS tape. Okay. And I think I paid, it might have been $25, I think, is what I got it for.
Right.
And I brought it home immediately, and I had a 2-track. I had a 2-track, like my dad had like some like these old equipment stuff. And
reel to reel.
Yeah, and I had an old 2-track, reel to reel. Hooked it up to the VCR, recorded all of Song Remains the Same, and then took the 2-track into the shed where my drum set was, and learned all of the Song Remains the Same. And I could play, like, there was a point where I could play that forwards and backwards at one point in time. That was my break in. I had a Ludwig set back then. That was my first set. So I had a Ludwig set back then. And I even made it simple trap because in reality I had the 2 toms and the 2 floors. I got rid of those and just made it the 1 tom and the 2 floors so that I could play it the same way that Bonham did, and straight up learned how to play that entire album. And that was crowning achievement 1. At that point, that's what really broke in my hands, and I could actually do that. Drop of a hat, I could go and play rock and roll. Go and play Dazed and Confused was actually my favorite thing to play the whole thing, especially because once they start jamming, it's the jam that really just makes them. And that's the on stage, those 4 guys could go for hours and just rock it. And I could sit there and just listen to that. I don't even need the song. And so that was the beauty of learning music. That was like my first open door. I didn't totally understand music until I started playing jazz in high school and got into Chick Corea.
Well,
and then that opened up my ears.
Major league there.
Yeah. That opened up my ears, and then you start playing in competitive jazz bands and stuff like that. So, but to my doorway in was The Song Remains the Same. Yeah.
No, I was intimidated by John Bonham, so forget about it. We had a studio we rented above a music store.
Yeah.
It was just an old apartment building, and they turned each apartment into a little studio, put baffles on the wall and stuff so we could play and not bother anybody because it was a commercial district, retail district, so there were no residents to bother nearby. But I remember the day there were some other bands in other rooms and stuff, and I was just down there by myself with the drums trying to get my chops. And I could hear other guys in other rooms, and I would try to mimic them, and then they would mimic me. So we're playing together through the walls.
That's awesome.
But I do remember the time that, and I stole some licks because I didn't know you can do that. Okay, but I remember the day when my arms and legs became independent of each other.
Yeah.
That snap, that click, that breakout feel, and I was like, oh, what happened? It's just from practice, like anything.
I learned to be able to play grooves through Bonham. I got intimidated by Peart because of the technicality and just the time changes and everything.
Yeah, no,
and then that even died once I got into high school and I got into fusion jazz. And so now I'm listening to Cal Yuta and Steve Gadd and Dave Weckl and truly getting intimidated by, okay, that guy's literally playing with like 4 different body parts in 4 different ways.
Yeah.
And there's no way that I can rhythmize it. I can make it into a rhythm between the two. I can't totally go independent from one to the other. I can make it into that was always the hard part with Copeland and playing what Copeland plays. Because that guy's head just goes wherever, and then you want to play a lick, and he doesn't hit it on the one, or he doesn't play a backbeat, and it's just impossible to follow. And he's so infuriating. Like, that's the one guy
there's only one of him.
There's
only one Bonham. There's only one. Sure, you can play. His son plays, and still can't match his dad.
No,
it's the same DNA, but
he's got this knee-jerk way of playing that just like it doesn't always make sense. It makes sense to him. It doesn't make sense to everybody else.
I remember seeing, and you've probably seen these too, videos or interviews where someone like I don't know, Paige would say something like, we were playing in a small club and we had our band together and we're playing and all that, and all these other. They were playing at the Monterey Jazz Festival or something. And, maybe it was Monterey, maybe it was somewhere else, but they were playing there. And all these other drummers with other bands on the bill would be coming out from backstage to watch Bonham play. And they're like, how's he doing that? And these are jazz, high skill jazz drummers watching a rock and roller, to learn from him.
Who can kick like he can? Like nobody's got a foot like that. Like so
it's just. And they say, oh, we must be good, or he must be. The band was saying, oh, John must be pretty good if everyone's coming to watch him. You got Jimmy Page who can play anything, but they're coming to see John. It's too bad that it ended the way it did. But it's rock and roll's a hard life.
And he was a hard life. He drank like he was a hard hitter before he even got it. So
I interviewed the guy. He was a cop when Led Zepp came to Florida, and there was a Miami-Dade police officer who was assigned to their security detail.
Oh.
And he talked about all the behind-the-scenes stuff. He showed me pictures of him with the band and stuff, and hotels that they used to trash, rooms, throwing TVs out windows and shit.
Oh, Lord.
Oops, sorry. But, you know what I mean? So he was telling me these stories, and he says, and the one guy who would sit in the corner and just try and stay within his own head was John Bonham, because he just didn't want to be there. He didn't want to fly. He was anxious about the next flight to the next town. He said, well, you're not there yet, man. Just relax and enjoy the day. You don't have to be crazy 24/7. And he wasn't. He was the quiet guy, according to this cop from his witnessing in Miami. But and there were other cops down here who, of course, were on the Beatle security team. And
nice.
There's all kinds of history has gone through this town in South Florida.
Oh no! Back in the day, hell yeah,
yeah, and even Montreal. I mean,
Derek and the Dominoes gets created here. They happen to go to the concert, and all of a sudden now you got Allman comes over, and then now you have an album, classic albums of all time. So yeah,
it's amazing. So conventions, people dress up and
you tis the season for you about now, isn't it? Like, are you gearing up?
I do have another doc gig in June. It's a wedding.
Okay.
But the guy has a car, a time machine, and he wants me to roll up in it and wish the bride and groom well. But it's
so do you do any conventions at all this year at all?
I haven't gone to a convention in a while because I went to San Diego Con.
Right.
Comic Con. I've been to MegaCon a couple of times working and visiting.
Right.
A couple in Miami. We wanted to go to Dragon Con in Atlanta, but I was always trying to schedule my time off, my daughter's time off, because we like to go together.
That's got to be much harder now because she's creating now, so she doesn't even get
Toronto. She's in Toronto, so it's hard to
even
go
that.
at all.
Yeah.
But for 11 years, we were going to everything like every year, and people would recognize us. In 2019, when I was doing the gig at MegaCon with the cast, and of course I was hanging with the cast and talking to the cast, and other people came up to take pictures. Of course, that was where the woman in the DeLorean wheelchair was.
Right.
little boy, not a little boy, teenager comes up to me, and his mother says, "Can you take a picture with my boy?" He was kind of shy, but he was dressed as Marty. So I said, "Absolutely," and we took a picture. And she goes, "Oh, good." And then she says, "Now I got one to go with the other one." And apparently they took a picture with me 5 years earlier or something, and he was this little kid, you know. So I said, "Oh, can I have both those pictures?" I can't believe people have grown up following this.
you, yeah.
Well, not, I was just I guess he recognized me, but just that I've been to cons where people say, "Hey, you know, I know you," or "I took a picture with you once," and I'm not surprised because, you know, when they do 500 pictures with you, sure, I'm not going to remember everybody, but each one may remember me. But it is, again, you know, if I can bring a little joy to their life.
It's a beautiful moment.
I get such a kick out of making somebody excited because I'm just wearing a costume and talking like them. I have the hair, so people say. I was in Asheville, and I came out. I put all my hair up under my hat after the gig. I changed, plain clothes,
or else you're not going to get it anywhere.
Well,
you'll be stuck there all day.
No, I was out of costume. I had my hair up under my hat, and as I'm walking out, someone made a comment. I bet you're glad to get that wig off. And then I took my hat out and took my hat off, and all the hair came out. And he went, "Oh!" So I don't know if people think my hair is a wig or not, but it's the real deal. So I think it's the hair, the voice, the costumes. And I get buried in all of that. And nobody knows who I am, but they see Doc and they hear Doc and they're happy. So if that's all it takes.
Do you find now, like I found myself, like there was a point in time where I was a comic book collector, and I would go to a comic book store, and it's me and, like, you know, 6, 7 other people in there at any one particular point in time. Then there was the comic book explosion of the 90s. And there would be something like 50 people, and I'm walking around like, who the hell are these posers that are in here now? And now I find that today, what used to be, you know, geek talk for geeks is no longer the case.
Mainstream.
There's no such thing as a geek like that any longer. Now everybody and their mother has commentary over things that are strictly from them watching television, and so it's like you're walking around. It's like, who are these posers that are around? You know, that just you Johnny Come Latelys that are now suddenly on the kick.
I was reading poorly drawn comics on rough paper,
right?
When they cost 10 cents a copy, and now you got this slick.
And you guys are coming out of nowhere, and so I'm thinking, like, is it like that for cosplayers? Like there was a point in time when it was kind of chic and it was all you, and now you're going in there and there's a bazillion people all dressed the same.
Join the party, you know. I don't care if, I mean, there are some people who are larger than the character, and can't fit the costume, but what the hell, you know? And I saw a Thor maybe 4 feet tall, but he was a thing. I mean, he looked more like Thor than Thor. Forget Chris Hemsworth. This guy was good, but he was about 4'5",
right?
You know, but you would think, well, you don't need to be 8 feet tall to be Thor. No, you know, just be Thor. You know, and it was cool. It's the same with Thanos and the throne. You know.
Well, it's kind of funny now that now because it's so big, there is a subset of cosplayers that don't go into the detail. They are the ones that go get the regular Halloween costumes, and they just dress like that. But it's become a thing. Well, like, in other words, like it's just it's become a thing where there's a clique where it's like, we don't go into the high detail costumes. We're the ghetto version of you guys, and you're just wearing like a regular like Superman mask.
I've never seen or met or heard of anybody looking down their nose at the amateur wannabes.
Oh, I've seen it.
The Walmart.
I've seen like
costumes,
especially from like say like the steampunk clique. Where they're totally dressed to the nines, and then somebody walks around with a Batman costume that they paid like $350 for, and they're like, "Screw this guy."
No, I've seen guys like that. I saw a Captain America who used the square styrofoam lid of a cooler. Styrofoam cooler.
Oh my god!
And he had boots on, and he had a T-shirt that he spray painted a star on. I mean, it was so low quality. It was funny as hell. And you know, he was like, "Hey, I want us to be a superhero too," but it was like,
the least amount of work to do.
Totally homemade. You know, I'm just here to meet chicks. You know, like, well, Cap, you're gonna have to do better.
Is there a con that you haven't gone to that you want to go to?
Oh, I'd like to go to Dragon Con in Atlanta. I'd like to go back to a New York con.
Right.
The big ones. There's a lot of small ones that that I was supposed to go.
Everywhere. That's why I was saying, like, the season starts at around May, and they just actually last week.
They've started
the season kind of started last week because
They've
it was
started as early as January. Some of them.
There was one that was here in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday, so over the weekend that I didn't get a chance to like hit up, but. Now it's beginning, and then you'll get them like week.
I've been to Miami, I've been to Miami Beach, I've been to Fort Lauderdale,
right.
MegaCon a lot, mainly because I get to work there,
right.
And a lot of other events, a lot in Orlando especially. I did one where it was the World Convention of Microsoft engineers or something. So that was one of my first gigs, and so I'm outside with the car, sweating like crazy. With Marty, and he had my guitar,
right.
And so we're standing out there greeting people as they came off the bus because they were busing people in. Now, you got a bus full of people from Japan, a bus full of people from Hungary, a bus full of people from France, but not everybody is not every movie in those countries has a Doc Brown,
right.
So this woman from Romania, I think, came off the bus. Oh, Machine Man. So I guess in Back to the Future in Romania, I'm not Doc Brown. I'm Machine Man.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure I don't talk like this. So
that's so great.
But you find out, I've got other names, really? You know, what do you call me in this country, in that country? I was trying to find a Japanese version of Back to the Future so I could learn
how to say it,
the voice. The words, you know, Great Scott. Does he say Great Scott?
Right.
You know, he does actually, but
okay.
It doesn't sound at all like this Great Scott.
No.
But there are some phrases that I wanted to learn so I can go to Japan and try to impress. But I didn't impress. just stand there and look good.
It's hilarious how much has come from this movie that was sink or swim for Zemeckis, because by that point in time he had made 2 movies that were kind of either mediocre or just a straight stinker and just didn't sell any, and that was kind of like his last bite at the apple right there. It's like, if you don't get it here, they're not. They're
like 10 years to get it made, or 50 years to get it made, or something.
Right?
Long time.
It took them a bit.
They got turned down 40 times, but it took them 10 years to get it off the ground. So the Robert Zemeckis, I mean, he's got to be my favorite director, not just because of that movie, but I like the movie Contact.
Oh, yeah.
I like the movie I Want to Hold Your Hand, which was a Beatle movie, and all these movies
not
that
a lot
I
of
like.
people know that one,
that was one of his first movies. And the reason you don't see it on TV anymore is you got to pay through the nose to
licensing.
Get the Beatle music into the show. So I've got the DVD.
They used to religiously every year show that Beatles movie of the Beatles kind of coming together, where they have that big scene where they get rid of Best and they get Ringo, and it was this whole riot and everything.
Yeah.
Like that film used to be an ABC TV movie of the week, every year, and then at a certain point in time, it got pricey. Not anymore.
Yeah, so it was. I just found out that all these movies that I liked were all made by him, and I was like, oh well, no wonder I liked it, because
that's me and Robert Wise.
Oh yeah,
like I didn't realize it until all of a sudden I was like, oh, Robert Wise, right? Hey, I must be a Robert Wise fan.
Yeah. And it's like, he's a Canadian. He's a Canadian, right? Canadian. All these secret little things that you wonder why you like it, and then you find out that the person behind it is the guy who knows what you like, without knowing you. But you can't go wrong with Back to the Future. It's such a family film.
Classic of classics. And that whole trilogy is a classic of classics. There's not really a bad movie in it. There's not a bad movie in the whole 3. And
I'm part of group chats, and they're funny. They're hysterical. I find them hysterical because people will argue over the smallest detail in a film. Is that guy on the bicycle who rode by in the background? Was that the other doc from the other timeline? No, that was just a guy. Oh, Lord. That was just a guy on a bicycle,
The time arguments.
Yeah, well, what if he went back, and what if he... I was driving down a highway. I saw a car transporter, a big truck, with DeLoreans on it.
Right.
Maybe 6 DeLoreans on it or something. And so I took a picture out the window while I'm driving, and then I put it on Facebook asking if the truck gets up to 88 miles per hour.
Right.
Do they all go somewhere else? Like, does the whole thing go to the same timeline, or do they all go to a different timeline? If the truck gets up to 88? And then, of course, that starts a whole debate about, well, no, the flux capacitors have to be on in each car.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa. I was making a joke. But,
I remember somebody made like a literal time, a scientific time class.
Right.
About the study of time, utilizing Back to the Future and the science of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And so there's like a Back to the Future class that you could take out of college and pass for points, learning about time through Back to the Future. It's hilarious. But
I might get an A in that class.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to break down exactly how the time works. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but there's all kinds of lines, that, especially if hardcore fans, where someone will pose a question that's ridiculous, and somebody will answer it with a line from the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like, how did Doc, weren't there two Docs back in 1955 when he went back, but he was already there? And it says, well, you're not thinking fourth dimensionally. You know, which is a line from the movie that everybody, oh, yeah. So that's their answer to anything that anybody poses, no matter how complex. You know, do you really? And some are really intelligent, and they're really. I mean, you've got scientists on these chat rooms explaining things, and then someone will say, "Yeah, but you're not thinking fourth dimensionally." Right. Or is that what you're thinking fourth dimensionally?
I'm thinking about the bootstrap theories.
Exactly, and then you've got people asking, you know, why did Lorraine, young Lorraine, take Marty, Calvin Klein's pants off? You know, and put him on her hope chest while he was in her bed when he woke up.
Because she's a horny teen.
I said, well, I think she took his wallet. And, of course, that's a line from later in the movie by another guy. I think he took his wallet, which is a throwaway line, but everybody uses it in these chat rooms. Like, I think he took his wallet. I think he took his wallet.
Yeah.
And it's just a throwaway line that's so out of place and so ridiculous to have in there. And the character says it like 3 times. And then other people say, well, he grew up to be Lorraine's father, so that's why she took the wallet out of Marty's pants when she took them off. And like, oh my God. But it's fun. It's fun to just sit there and bend your brain around these what ifs and these physics challenges and such. So, hey, if you can get a laugh out of life, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no boundaries. And it's funny that you mentioned drumming, because Bruce, I didn't know at the time until I, you know, sat with him more and chit chat. He was a drummer.
Oh,
so he's a drummer building time machines. I was a drummer playing
there
Doc.
you go.
You're a drummer.
Yeah.
So we got to get you into a costume and go to a con. Got to take you to a con, man. We got to find a costume for you.
Oh,
and it doesn't matter if it's accurate or not.
Right. Doc Brown, Kevin Joseph,
hey.
You, sir, are a gentleman and a scholar for coming on the show.
Glad to be here, and hope to see you in the future.
Thank you very much for coming out.
You're welcome.
For everyone out listening to the Tesseract Files, and thank you very much for tuning in and listening to this episode. In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.